Hey, good morning, everybody. I hope everybody has had a lovely weekend. And if you've been out celebrating in the Platinum Jubilee, that's fantastic. You know, I've enjoyed seeing all the flags around everywhere, and it's being a celebration of our country more than anything. I know people have got different opinions of the royal family, so I'm not going to go into that whole issue. But let's talk about Prince William and his speech that he did in the evening there at the celebrations. Now, obviously, he's a senior member of the royal family. He's there for his grandmother, and he said a lot about his grandmother, the Queen, and what she's done over 70 years. But then he goes off into a little tangent about environmental issues and politicizes the whole thing. And of course, that is very, very widely reported. He's setting out a political agenda. And he shouldn't be doing that because the royal family is supposed to be completely apolitical, not getting involved in politics at all. But of course, Prince William and his father, Prince Charles, are in the World Economic Forum. They go to Davos, they talk to the people there, and they are very much part of promoting the agenda of the World Economic Forum. And this speech proves it, because he said in his speech, environmental issues are at the top of the global agenda. Now that is a political statement, and there will be people in politics who would agree with that, and there will be other people who disagree with that. There'll be people in the population as a whole, in the citizenry, who agree, and others who don't agree. But around that statement, he started off a little segment in his speech by talking about how fragile the planet is. It's become more fragile over the last 70 years, and there's a pressing need to protect and restore our planet. Then he says about environmental issues being at the top of the global agenda, and more businesses and politicians are answering the call. What call? Is it a call that he's making? A call that the World Economic Forum is making? So he's actually talking about people signing up to an agenda. The agenda, the environmental agenda, and I assume Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, the climate alarmist agenda. And what that wants to do is dismantle the infrastructure that we have that is based on using fossil fuels for our energy, an infrastructure that works, and if politicians don't tamper with it, will provide us with all the energy that we need at cheap prices and in abundance. But they want to rip that all up and put in place solar panels and wind farms, and that will ensure that we don't have enough energy to do all the things that we need and we want to do. But those people in the Davos set, Prince William, Prince Charles, and Klaus Schwab, and Trudeau, and Biden, and Ardern, and Tony Blair, they will still swan around the world on their private jets using fossil fuels. In fact, you know they have done. They all packed off to Davos just a couple of weeks ago on their private jets. You know, they probably pumped out more carbon dioxide than a small African nation does in a year, just for a few hundred people to go to a conference in Davos. So don't talk to me about putting environmental issues at the top of the global agenda when you're all swanning around the world on your private jets and pumping out carbon dioxide. And this is all based on the lie that carbon dioxide is somehow harmful to the planet. Carbon dioxide is a natural gas. Every human being, every other animal respires continually, and we breathe out carbon dioxide. If we didn't have carbon dioxide, global temperatures would be a lot lower, and plants wouldn't be able to grow because they need carbon dioxide and they like it. And we know that in horticulture, most greenhouses, industrial greenhouses that grow food on an industrial scale, they pump the levels of carbon dioxide up so that the plants grow quicker, you get more fruit, and it's bigger and it's juicier. So it's a good thing. And it doesn't cause hardly any global warming above 50 to 100 parts per million. And that's if you really understand science and you understand Beer Lambert's law, or even if you look at it in terms of radiative forcing, that's true. So there you go. So what he also then went on to say, Prince William, in his speech, was that there's a generation of young people who are spearheading the change. Well, sorry, no one asked me if I wanted change. I don't think anyone asked young people if they really want the kind of change that means that they won't be able to drive in most cars and they won't have enough energy. And in the future, the World Economic Forum is saying meat will be a rare treat, not a daily staple. So, but all of these grandiose elites are going to be eating meat while the population starves and eats bugs, just like it was in Ceausescu's Romania. And you know what happened to him. So he was saying there, young people, they won't accept that change is too difficult to deliver. Really. So, they're the other people in the World Economic Forum, not Prince William himself, but other people around the world, political leaders who are part of this global regime, are talking about pain coming. And Biden in America talking about a transition. The transition is going to be painful, but it's a price worth paying. This is what people said, before the Iraq war, whatever. And obviously, we're not going to war, but who knows how many people are going to suffer because of the economic destruction that is going to be wreaked as these people try to bring in an economic change and a transition which nobody's asked for, which is already causing incredible hardship in families because politicians are pursuing the insane policies of net zero carbon dioxide emissions and climate alarmism. Basically, we closed down 11 coal power stations in the UK, which means we don't produce enough energy for people to have for electricity. So we're buying in electricity from France and the Netherlands through these undersea cables, and we have to buy gas from Norway in order to burn in our gas power stations. Thank goodness we've still got them, but some people are taking aim at them and saying they need to close as well, which would just be disastrous because their idea of utopia is that we can generate all the energy we need from these hideous windmills, wind turbines that are going up all over the countryside, blotting the countryside everywhere. And then when the wind's blowing, we'll have more energy than we need, so we can store it in big arrays of batteries, which are constructed with lithium and cobalt from child slave labor in Congo and other places. And that's going to be the future solution to our energy and how we'll get energy. But we won't always have enough energy to supply us all the time, as we do at the moment, because nuclear, coal, gas, power stations provide a continuous, level, sustainable source of energy. It's level, it's the same. It can fluctuate up or down if you turn the heat up on the coal power station a little bit, but if they're going normally, you get a secure supply of energy 24/7, 365. You don't get that with wind, you don't get that with solar. So their idea is that we'll generate our energy from that, but then when the sun's not shining and the wind's not blowing, we'll store them in these big batteries of cells, which they're going to build everywhere, and then we'll take energy out of there when there's no solar or wind coming in. The thing is, though, these big battery arrays don't store hardly any energy. The number we got at the moment, there's enough energy for about 3 hours, or something like that. It's pitiful amount of energy that you can actually store in those things. And so that's just simply a non-starter. But they're putting their hopes in this, that they actually believe this nonsense is going to work. It's not. It is, as William does say, it will be very, very painful. So let's not do it. For goodness sake, let's not destroy the infrastructure that works for a completely unnecessary, scientifically false reason that carbon dioxide is some kind of demonic gas that is going to cause sea levels to rise and kill everybody. It isn't. So let's keep using our fossil fuels. Let's stop being climate alarmists. And if you want the royal family to survive in the future, stop being political. Get back on your private jet and wave a flag. Don't do anything else.